that we just accept each other for who we are.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it's a wonderful feeling when everybody just like, they see you and they accept you, and then you can be more you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Her Table, Her Rules. I'm your host, Juliet Peters, and I have with me today Edith Espinola, who really has an interesting career trajectory. So Edith is a luxury real estate salesperson who works in the Bay Area in Los Gatos. But has also kind of morphed her business into doing coaching and training, and she also is very, very deep into working on, manifestation and how that plays into goal setting, what you're doing with your life. But before we kind of started, we were just talking about how the reality for women business owners, right, is you're never just doing that, right? You're juggling all of your family responsibilities. And we were talking about a break you had taken to take care of your aging mother.
Yes.
So I think it's important for all of us to acknowledge, we end up as women kind of having to sometimes veer off the straight line path because we have children with issues or that we're raising, or we have aging parents who need attention. So
Yes, well, thank you, Juliet. I'm so excited to be here today.
Awesome.
And, talking about taking that time off to take care of my mother, it wasn't anything that I had planned or she had planned. She had some heart issues, and it took a whole year for her to go through the whole process. And, like you were saying, as a woman, I was the one who was there to take care of her.
Right.
And as a result, I had to pull back a little bit from my business and from what it was that I wanted to accomplish with my life. And it was also a wonderful opportunity to really re-engage with my mother and learn more about who she was as a person and who I am as a person, and then my children as well. So it was a time of discovery, a time of love, and a time of healing.
yeah, I think that's really, important. I mean, I myself have had a number of years of this where I'm juggling, I still had kids in the house and had, aging and ailing parents over a fairly long period, and have had two parents live in my home. And so I understand exactly what you're saying. It's interesting, though, the approach, you've just kind of laid out, which is kind of reframing that. Because you can also feel the burden of that. And what I see in you is not the burden. You've chosen to reframe that, right, in a way that is, honoring of the time you had, which maybe you would never have had had you not stepped up like that.
Right, exactly. And I don't want to downplay the burden part, right? Because there were moments when I did feel like, oh my gosh, this is such a burden. But it was during those moments that I thought, Edith, look at this, right? Look at this. This is your mother. And, she's lived a good life, and, she's not done yet.
Yeah.
And so it then became an honor to help her to heal and take care of the things that were important to her and make sure that she had time with family. And I really wanted to make sure that she talked with everybody and anybody that she needed to, so that she could know and feel the love.
Yeah, and I think you raise a good point, which is I'm not glorifying it either. Yeah. It's very, very difficult, and it's going to get more difficult as the decades now roll on, because there's less and less help for people, and that's a different podcast. But but it's really important, and I hope there are women that are watching this who that's their work. I can think of a couple in the area that I want to have on to talk about sort of aging and how we do this in a way that honors everybody in the equation and doesn't suck all of the women out of the workforce, because it becomes heavily dependent on the women in the family to do all of that caregiving responsibility. Having said that, though, I really want to kind of talk about your, because being a realtor, right, is, sort of a very different skill set than applying that to coaching,
Yes.
right? It's very, very different. But I think that there's a lot in being a realtor that's very service oriented.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
So I've been doing real estate for 22 years, and I have realized while I'm working with my clients that I'm helping them to transform their lives into what it is that they want. And in that process, I get to learn about who they are and understand them and help them get what it is that they want, like what location, what type of house they want. And then I realized as I got to work in I started to study energy work. And I learned how to use my intuition. I learned how to use energy to feel people, to hold space for people. And then real estate became something much more exciting for me. I realized that I'm actually playing a part in helping somebody transform their life into who they've always wanted to be. And what's cool is that they didn't realize that that's why they were moving to a certain place. It wasn't the reason that they were moving to a certain place until we pointed it out, until the awareness became what was important. And then it became really fun. So when I'm working with my clients, we sit down and we figure out like who they are and what they want out of life and what they're like and what they don't like, because that's just as important. And when they're going through the process of selling their home, it's like moving out of the home that they're selling is like going through a divorce. Mm-hmm. There's lots of memories that they have there that they have to separate from. They have attached so many different things of their family and experiences with certain rooms, certain locations in their home. So helping a seller to get ready to like divorce the home, leave it, and then go forward to what they really want out of life, then that's where we're focusing on. It's like, okay, let me take your home that you have right now and let me make it beautiful and respect all of the love, all of the joy, all of the healing, all of the celebration that you experience there, and we'll get it ready for the next people. And then as we move to their new home and figure out what they want, then we go into what is it that they are how are they picturing their life? Yeah. What is it that they want for their children? What is it that they've always thought that they would have as an adult at this stage in their life? And it's really been fun because it's kind of changed the direction on what some of my clients have decided to do.
That's interesting. And I was listening to a podcast you had guested on a few years ago, and you were talking about you're obviously really successful as a realtor, but you didn't arrive successful, right? You had barriers in your business that you had to break through from, sort of mental barriers on how much, what your sort of bottom line number is, because you're running as a realtor a business, right? Mm-hmm. So tell me about how you kind of worked on setting your financial goals and how you broke through your own limiting beliefs with respect to financial goals. Mm-hmm. Because I think I can just speak from myself. I've had to work really hard on money issues the last 10 years because I had from somewhere a belief that money was a corrupting influence. Imagine that. We don't see that at all in these days, right? But that's kind of how I saw it. So I was limiting sort of the top end, right, with these beliefs that I had around money. And I know that this is a hot point for women.
Right.
Particularly. So tell me how you broke through that kind of your own self-limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Well, the limiting belief that I had when it came to money was that I wasn't worthy of having wealth. I wasn't worthy of having a lot of money. That my thought process was that, as long as I had enough to live, then I would be okay and, everything would be fine. And so I realized that that's what I just grew up with, that the thought process was, well, people who have a lot of money, they're better than us, right? Or they deserve it, or that, we just don't need money. And, that was like my favorite, like, we don't need it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't need it, but I want it.
Right.
And so I had to really work on how I saw myself and saw that I am worthy of being happy, and that I am worthy of having what I want, and that I am worthy of having more than enough money, that I'm worthy of having more than I could spend and having it just grow in numbers, that I'm worthy of that because I only have one life to live.
Yeah.
And I want to be happy, and I want to show my children how to be happy, and I want to show them how to enjoy wealth. So I had done a lot of healing on myself, letting myself go from feeling less than into realizing that I was put here for a reason. And that reason, one of the reasons, is to really spread love and to spread joy. And I've chosen real estate as a way to do that by helping my clients achieve what they want in their life. Then that helps me to achieve what I want. And as I see my clients being in the luxury world, seeing my clients having all that money and enjoying and being really grounded, conscious, aware people who just want to live a good life, that's helped me to accept me for who I am. And that what I want is nothing weird. It's nothing strange. It's just what everybody wants. And I'm just finally deciding to say, this is me. This is what I want.
I find it so interesting that you gravitated with that belief system, which you probably didn't even know you had, right?
No.
Until you start examining it, right? I find it fascinating that you gravitated towards luxury real estate because it could have gone the other way, right? Sometimes people see, wealth and they're turned off by it, as opposed to it reinforced for you that it normalized the people that had the wealth, right?
Yes.
And so they didn't seem other, like you had been putting them into an other category, right?
Right.
So that's very interesting that you would choose, luxury real estate. Was there anything concrete from a tips perspective that you did to actively work on your money mindset?
Well, I have a wonderful coach. And she has been a mentor to me on how to really celebrate the life that I have. And to look at what it is that I want and to honor that and to love myself for that. And then I have a spiritual teacher who has shown me that it's not about the money. But
Right.
It is about what the money can bring and the good that it does for the world and the good that it does for me. So I'm trying to formulate like a really good.
That was the answer. You don't have to formulate
Okay.
anything else. I think that idea of, coaching for women, and we have had, as this podcast began, we've had a number of coaches on, right?
Yes.
And one of the amazing things about the coaching community, I think, is there's a lot of people doing really good, deep work in the coaching community.
Yes.
And I think that for women particularly, coaching is really critical. I have really only used a coach in the last 5 years. I've always kind of done personal development, so I found coaching and not in a one-on-one coaching relationship. But I think for women, it's really critical because I think oftentimes we get stuck in our own head. Mm-hmm. And it's really important to have someone who can call you out on some of your patterns, and things that you are, and just kind of how you get off track because you're locked in your head. And some of the things that you're speaking into existence are exactly the opposite of what you want, right?
Right.
And sometimes you need a coach to tell you that, hey, no, let's rephrase that.
Right.
My coach is always telling me, don't use that verbiage, right?
Right.
So I think that's really, the whole idea of having coaches, mentors, and community, right?
Yes.
That is the game, I think, in a lot of ways for women.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that, I know I know that my coach is wonderful, and I really am learning a lot from her. She's my mentor as well.
Right.
I want to do what she does, right?
Right.
I coach other agents and I coach non-agents as well
Yeah.
in manifestation. And then with that community that I'm in, the mastermind group, the community, the people that I'm meeting, like meeting you, having this wonderful opportunity, it is so important because where I'm at, sometimes how I think and what I feel and how I speak, it doesn't resonate with some people. And so having a coach who has a community that I can become a part of, it's wonderful.
And I think that's the other thing that we have to be honest about, which is you have to find your people.
Yes.
Right? It's not a one size fit all for who is your community. And you
Right.
don't necessarily have to have one-on-one coaching. I'm a big believer in it. I've seen such huge shifts in my own business when I've accessed one-on-one coaching.
Yes.
But what you talk about this idea of a mastermind, which basically for those who don't know is a group of coaching clients, right? And the amazing thing that happens in a mastermind, I think, is that you are, you have these amazing other people. In mine, it's all women business owners. And there is, a camaraderie that occurs because let's face it, it's very lonely running your own business.
Yes.
You have a lot of issues that you're dealing with all the time. I think, you have other people who are doing different businesses. You get great ideas. There is a trench mentality that leads to amazing bonding that you don't have elsewhere. And that, at the end of the day, helps you make all these shifts and changes that you need to make to take your business to the next level or to change whatever you're doing. I think it's really important for women. And I've said that before, and that's will be a tome, I think, going through this, is that I do think that coaching is really critical.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
And, I have enjoyed coaching my clients as well. So for 5 years, I held a monthly manifestation workshop. It was called Beautiful Life Manifestation. And it was wonderful. Every month, people would come, and I held it at a metaphysical store. And so as the time grew, more people started to attend, and this community started to build. And it was wonderful because I could see that we were all growing and healing and transforming together. And so that mindset and being able to lead people and hold them in a space to where they felt the freedom to speak what it is that they were concerned about, to have the acceptance. And I think that that's really important, is having a group that accepts you for who you
Absolutely.
are, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, and to know that there was a place where you could just be yourself.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding. It's rewarding to be the coach of a group like that. And then it's also rewarding to be in a group like that. And I think everybody should have a coach.
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
I think, and you can access coaching at all price points.
Yes.
It does not have to be a super pricey coach. You can access lots of, online communities. And I do think that it's amazing. We're unfortunately running short of time, and I really wanted to talk a little bit about the manifestation, but give me one tip that people get wrong about manifestation. What do people get wrong?
Well, they think it's woo-woo. They think like it's just magic. Like they could just say, this is what I want, and it just comes out of the air, and that they didn't have to do anything. That's the tip that people are like, oh, but it doesn't happen for me.
Right.
And so, yeah, it doesn't come out of the air. It's a movement of energy, and it's a movement of focus. And once you can focus on something, you can call in what it is that you want.
Yeah. It's the whole thinking where you put your attention, that's where, where it goes, right?
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
And sometimes we put our attention on exactly the opposite thing that we want, right?
Oh, yeah. And I have done
and then
that.
that arrives.
Exactly.
And you're like, ooh, okay, see, there's where the coach has to tell me, but that's what you said.
Right, exactly. That's where that negative
You're
thoughts come in, right?
I did. That's exactly right. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I just have one final question. So, you built your table,
Yes.
right? And you have your rules. What's your most important rule that you think others could benefit from?
I think that we just accept each other for who we are.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it's a wonderful feeling when everybody just like they see you and they accept you, and then you can be more you.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you
Thanks
so
for
much,
joining me.
Juliet. This
Thank
has
you.
been fun.
All right. And we hope to see you next time on Her Table, Her Rules. Thanks, Edith Espinola, for joining us today.